What's up, everybody? We're here today with Team USA flag football champion, IFAF flag world champion, right here in a different situation. I'm sick with COVID, couldn't be at the setup today. But to get us started, I'm gonna give us a little backstory on how me and Mike know each other. I actually was a photographer for USA Flag, not Team USA. That's a different thing. USA Flag is a tournament organization, and I was a photographer for them for 1 year, and that's how I met Mike. And I took some pictures of him. We talked and everything. We've been cordial since. We've been keeping up with each other. So I just want to talk to you about the difference between these tournaments, these USA Flag tournaments, and Team USA, and the difference in how you prepare and all that stuff.
Yeah, man. So obviously it's major differences just based off of the rules, right?
Mm.
With Team USA, we go strictly under IFAF rules and regulations, which is virtually absolutely no contact, right?
Mm.
With USA Flag, we play in a format where it's fours and fives non-contact, but I mean, obviously you've been a photographer out there, you've been on the scene. There's still clearly a lot of contact that's applied to the game,
Yeah.
right? Being a rusher, I'm given or afforded the opportunity to like at least make some type of contact with the quarterback if I'm trying to pull his flag.
Mm.
With IFF, they're strictly and absolute like no contact. Like obviously, just at the World Championships, I was almost dinged every game for either a roughing the passer
Mm.
or contact penalty. Man, if I wasn't getting a sack, I was definitely getting a flag. Um, Big thing about it, of course, being a rusher, I don't have to worry about going around any receiver or going around a bunch formation. They relatively have to respect my rush.
Mm.
Once I declare and put my hand up, it gives me free range straight to the line of scrimmage. USA flag lots kind of way bends that rule to where I have to either go around that bunched formation or I must have a lane to which I can actually blitz through to proceed to the quarterback.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yes, that's way different because I mean, me and you we out there together. We've seen people, them they run into the linemen. Them refs
Yeah.
they're like, we're gonna let it fly because they're doing it over here too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's obviously that's huge. That's a
Yeah.
lot of restraint that you learn to show throughout all that. Take me through the tournament, the IFAF tournament that y'all went through.
I mean, like I said, it's a lot different, obviously, because we was in Finland, so there was definitely some elevation, right? I
Mm.
think the only thing that we have close to it, really back in the States would be Colorado.
Mm.
So given the fact as well is that it's a four down territory versus three downs, right? So
Mm.
they have four downs to get a first down, they have four downs to score. So adding that extra down really like attributes to the offense versus the defense. Us is our job to try our best. It's
Mm.
already hard with three downs and it's
Yeah.
non-contact. So giving that extra down puts a lot of pressure on the defense. I think I had to grow throughout the tournament. Again, the biggest thing is just how much work and film goes into like studying and preparation, right?
Mm.
We have a solid 12 guys from all over the state, all over the US relatively, that's competing and is pretty much trying to work together, learn each other's mannerisms and stuff. And then we have the coaches, man. We have George and Pat. And again, from the defensive side, Pat's drawing up plays, schemes, formations, audibles, and things like that, how we're going to roll into different coverages, which is different than what I'm seeing as a rusher, right?
Mm.
Back home, I'm like, I'm either going to rush the quarterback or I may rush the quarterback and then shoot the double quarterback.
Mm.
But it really allowed me the opportunity to grow, right? From that IQ, like knowing what the linebackers doing, knowing what type of coverage they're going to roll into, what my DBs are doing, and things like that. To whereas though, if I see a certain formation on offense, we may audible out of it just because I'm predicting or anticipating that it have dropped two doubles back there or drop one double quarterback, and we may just shift our entire defense. So again, those are the big things again, and then actually just really studying our opponents. Not
Mm.
taking anybody for granted. We had some great teams out there: Italy, Canada, Mexico, obviously Austria that were out there. Like we really had to pay attention to what they were doing because it's not like we face them every day.
Right.
Germany, almost like every player was like 7 feet tall. So we're up there like. I'm being like 5'10". I'm not me putting my hands up trying to rush is not going to do anything to a quarterback that's like a
Mm.
foot taller than me.
Yeah, man. Because
Mhm.
I know. I've seen it. When you're playing locally, you're playing the same teams over
Yeah,
and over again. Once you see
yeah,
that new scheme, it's gonna take a minute to adapt. I'm sure.
yeah,
And I mean,
yeah,
7 foot tall, we ain't got nobody Like a whole 7 foot tall plant out there.
Yeah.
Speaking of the different countries and everything, obviously everybody knows in 2028 flag is in the Olympics. How do you
Yep.
prepare? How are you and your teammates preparing separately and individually, or individually and together for this tournament?
I mean, individually, it really comes down to like how bad we want it, right?
Mm,
It was really stressed during the World Championships of the age that we are, at least on the men's side of things, right?
mm,
Who's just 35, like I'm 39. So like the big point of that is really just trying to remain healthy
mm,
and then maintaining at least our current athletic ability,
mm,
right? So that's at the forefront of our minds. Again, is just ensuring that with each growing year that we don't sustain or we try to avoid any like major injuries because all it takes is one,
mm.
uh, especially in a game that really relies heavily on speed that will either set us back or like pretty much eliminate us from the ability to even try out. As a team, it's funny that you say that is that we still have like our group chat, right? Like
Mm,
that we had like leading into the training camps, leading into the world championships. They were constantly communicating with one another, finding out what everybody's doing. We're looking at other tournaments that come up to where as though we can collaborate and get together and participate in those tournaments. That way we
mm,
can still build, on that chemistry. Because again, a lot of the things that we did see is that the countries that we played against, those guys play alongside each other throughout the year.
right.
Like so they have a strong rapport with one another. They don't have to really like talk about different things. They already know what each other is thinking. So for us, it's ensuring that we fine tune everything like that because with the way trials works, next year it could be a completely different team. You could have major pieces that switch in and switch out,
Mm,
and that could really offset a lot of different things to which we're trying to do. I mean, just hypothetically saying, like, what if Pablo wasn't there or Hoosh isn't there next year? Like, that's a big chunk of what we do, how our offenses run, how we collaborate with one another. That's going to be different to as though we have to run back to the drawing board and get on the same page before the next tournament comes up.
right. You keep mentioning Houston. He's in the news now.
Yeah, yes.
People know who he is,
He's
and not a lot of
Mr.
people love
Global.
him. And as you mentioned, there's a chance that he doesn't make the team. You don't make the
Yeah,
team. All the other people don't make. What
yeah,
is your thoughts? I know it's a big topic. I know you probably got a lot to
yeah,
say about
yeah.
it. What are your thoughts on people saying that they want these NFL players to come in, and if you feel like they're not going to be able to, what is going to sway them? What is going to make it to where y'all have the advantage over them?
Yeah. Um, to be quite honest, this, maybe I could be wrong here, but I kind of respect it, right? Because it's not a matter of saying they want the NFL players; it's a matter of not knowing exactly who we are,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like if it was a track meet, and it was like, oh, do we take Usain Bolt, or do we take Michael Better? But
Right.
nobody know who Michael Better is.
Right.
They know who Usain Bolt is, like things along those lines. So it's really the world, and not even just say I wouldn't say the world. I would obviously because we're talking about stateside. The U.S. really has to learn like its players of the game,
Mm,
right? Many people weren't even aware that we fronted or had a U.S. national team to participate in these tournaments, let alone who the stars or the faces of flag football really are. I
mm.
mean, again, like I said, just speaking towards Hoosh didn't just come on the scene, right?
No.
If you've been following flag,
No, no, I've
Hoosh
been
was
around. I know who he
yeah,
is.
yeah. So Hoosh has been the face of flag for as long as I can remember. When you think back to the fighting cancer days, the AFFL, the $1 million game against the former NFL players,
Mm,
so it's one of those things that if the greater population of the U.S. knew exactly who Hoosh was, what he did, and how it attributes to the game, I think there'll be a little bit difference in regards to how they would approach if he should be there or if we should be there and so forth.
mm,
Um, and I also think again, just looking at it, like we in terms of the U.S. have to do a better job putting that type of media on the forefront of people's eyes,
mm.
right? Like, I mean, we just had the World Championships. It would have been great if it was televised rather than just streamed, right?
Right.
If we had even a fraction of what the Little League World Series has, Like I didn't even know anything about the little league players. But next thing you know, they're on ESPN, and I know everybody. Like
Yeah, right.
so, I think that is something that attributes to like just the growth of its game and its players. As far as the NFL players, man, I mean, I would let them come out, let them compete. Like it's one of those things. Like there'd be no different than the guys we have right now that were former NFL players. Dominic
Mm,
Rogers Cromartie plays for Kings of Florida. I met him obviously in a flag football environment. He transitioned from being one of the elite athletes in the NFL to a very good player. And one of the great players in regards to flag football. I mean, it was a learning curve, but it's something that he adapted to. To speak on what Hoosh harps on though is that they're not going to walk out there tomorrow and beat
no,
us.
right, absolutely.
Like, and I think the greater good here is to know that you guys will earn these spots if you come out there and try out.
Mm,
Um, it'll be interesting to see how they transition from that it being instilled in them to contact a receiver or just be physical
right.
to completely don't touch me, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not worried about a Michael Parsons running down and pulling my flag. Like
Right.
he may tap me, may run through me, but
Yeah.
so it's one of those things. Like I feel it's good for the game. I would love in a perfect world to have the national team play against 12 of their players in a Pro Bowl setting, right? With them
Right.
moving to flag football. Um, but like I said, not getting too deep into it. Even what they have presently with their flag football are not nowhere close to the same rules to what we go by with the IFAF. So if they would have had those 12 guys, maybe it'd be a Patrick Mahomes, um, Tyreek Hill, or so forth, go against our 12 guys. I'll hang my hat that our 12 guys will win. I mean, I don't like Patrick Mahomes. I would rather face Patrick Mahomes as a quarterback than face Pablo and Hoosh
Yeah.
about anything. So
Right.
yeah, like man, I'm ready for it. I look forward to it. I hope that's the direction that we move into. And again, it just gives more recognition to flag football and like the community itself.
Right. Absolutely. And I want to ask. So when, say hypothetically, we get Lamar Jackson decides he wants to come play flag, or
Hmm.
I think more on the defensive side where it'll matter more. Say
Yeah,
Micah does come out and want to play,
yeah,
and
yeah,
so let's say he trains hard, he makes the team. Do you think that's
yeah.
going to affect him later in his NFL playing?
Honestly, I think it will affect him more playing flag than it will the NFL,
Mm,
right? Because I mean, you can't take. I'm not sure exactly how old Michael Parsons is. I want to say like 26, 27, something along those lines. But you can't take the greater part of 2 decades of more than likely what he's been playing
yeah.
and then just turn it off. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? He's going to have a harder time, even if he were to make the team, adjusting to those regulations. Because, like, again, I made the team, right?
Mm,
And the flags that they were throwing in trials were a lot different than the flags that they were throwing when I was over there in Finland. Like everything was a touch foul,
mm,
or a penalty type thing. So I just feel like uh, if he were to come out from a defensive standpoint, make the team. I think he would still very much struggle in the eyes of the Olympics. I mean, that is the largest stage in sports
oh,
competitive
absolutely.
competition. So I think he'll still struggle there, but I don't think it'll really affect. I don't think it'll affect him from an NFL standpoint as far as what he does. I think during the time of the Olympics, though, it's going to be kind of weird because he's literally in training camp preparing for
Yeah.
the preseason
Right.
and then to switch it up and then try to prepare for the Olympics,
Right.
like, and don't touch everybody as a rusher.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah,
All right. I want to move away from the Olympics for a second. I want to ask you because I mean I've known you as a dad, as a husband,
yeah,
as a flag football
yeah,
player. How has this affected all of that with you joining Team USA?
man. Gosh, it's words wouldn't be enough, right? Like, I think it just joining the team now, it almost became like another job.
Mm-hmm.
It became like another career aspect. Obviously, like me being a family man, being a full-time employee. I work for the city and everything. Me already running my own league locally.
Mm-hmm.
So with this, it takes a certain sense of dedication and commitment. But I have to, in order to even maintain that, pull from those other things. I mean, again, going to Finland, I was away from my job, from the family for like a week and a half, and that's not something that's that's normal. Um, but like it's one of those things that I now have to sit down, plan out, create an itinerary. What does my schedule looks like a week from now, 2 weeks, a month, and so forth, because of the trainings, the training camps, and just traveling. Um, it's funny now, obviously, like being where I am now versus where I was, because there is a greater spotlight, like on me, right?
Mm,
And obviously you've known me for some time now. So it's like, oh, Rush King. And everybody's
yeah,
like, who the hell? Nobody knows who that is. And now, like, I'm looking at people post like I'm the Rush King and through the crown and everything. I'm like, oh, it's really getting out there now, right?
yeah,
So it's funny. I've had a lot of opportunities to participate in other tournaments. I didn't think that would even be on my plate as an opportunity. In December, obviously, I'm going to be playing with a team called the Panthers, and we're going over to Malaysia. All right,
oh,
they're all expenses paid to fly me over there to participate in a championship. Yeah, like again in Malaysia, I'll be there from the beginning of December, about the 5th, like the 10th. So, and that's one of those things that came with my play, my performance, and my personality, I guess, like
right.
just being on the forefront of things. Got an opportunity to work with several different brands, right? I'm sure if you've seen, of course, I wear that headgear, Seismic. I'm one of the athlete ambassadors for that. That came again as far as being Team USA, and it really took off, right?
Mm,
Like, I mean, it's funny. I'm glad that it did, consider all the injuries I sustained. So I
yeah.
was in the neighborhood to get like some type of protective gear. But yeah, that amongst many other different opportunities, endorsements, like collaborations with others, have really worked out. Just because of the U.S. national team.
So do you think that you're earning these opportunities? Obviously, your play has got to be there, but
Yeah,
we all know you as memes on Facebook and
yeah,
making
yeah,
jokes. And do you think
yeah.
that has played a part in all the opportunities you're getting?
Uh, I would say so, right? Like, I mean, because I mean, again, every player, whether it be like the men's team or the women's team, they're the elite of the elite. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? Like, there are no holes in the game, no chink in the armor. Like, so from whether it be your rusher, your receiver, quarterback, DB, like that's top tier. But what is also as important is obviously, at least because I'm older, is like what's marketable,
mm,
right? Like,
right.
how can this person not only be their face because of their play, but can they be their face because of their personality? How what their vernacular is, how like all the different things that attribute to gaining an audience and retaining an audience. So again, like obviously everybody knows me. I love to make people laugh. Like I
Mm,
love memes. I'm real big on like designs and stuff like that. So I think again, uh, all those different like brands and companies and stuff like that, they do a complete wash on your background, because the guys that reached out to me knew exactly who I was
mm,
outside of the national team, and was like, like I try to have my character precede me, right?
mm,
So like if I'm posting something, it's gonna be something funny, or it'll be like my family.
yeah.
So like I think again, those things are definitely heavily favored in the idea of saying, oh, we want him to be a representation, of what we stand for.
Right. Right. And I mean, it's cool. I mean, I've seen you rush in local tournaments over here. You drove up from to North Carolina to play.
Yeah,
I've seen
yeah,
you play. I've seen you travel to Florida, and now it's crazy. My brother, I mean, Dylan, he sent me a
yeah.
live stream. Mike's playing for gold medal. I was like, ain't no way. That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
It's been really good to talk to you. The self-proclaimed Rush King in the building right now.
all
It's
day. Big crown.
I'm really proud of everything you've been through. I know, obviously, me and you aren't super close, but I've seen you grow, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
really cool to see. And I appreciate
yeah.
you taking time to talk to me today.
Definitely, man. Anytime, man.
All right, man.
Appreciate you.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
bro.